Hey guys, and welcome to Carguy1999 reviews as well as Quirk Auto Dealers. Today we are comparing the trim lines of the 2021 Kia Seltos. Here we have the LX, the S, and the SX. These are the three main model lines. Two engines between them. This one has the 2.0 four-cylinder. No turbo on this one. You can get the S with the 2.0 or the option of the 1.6 turbo, which this one has, and then the SX comes with the 1.6 liter turbo. So we'll go ahead, we'll go through each of these trim levels, kind of see what differences are between them, and then we'll take them out on the road and kind of compare and contrast. So of course we'll start with the entry-level model, the LX. Neptune Blue is the exterior color. The options this one has are the carpeted floor mats and the wheel locks for a total price of $23,300. As you can see, it has the cloth interior. We'll go a bit more in depth on the main drive. Really nice interior for being the base model trim. Nice interior, drive mode switch, a couple blank switches, your all-wheel drive lock, downhill assist, rubberized steering wheel. But even as a base model, it is really nice in here. You still have touch screen, everything you would ever want. Especially for $23,300, it's a really nice car. Stepping up into the S model now, you can tell this one has the option of the two-tone roof. This one finished in white over, what color? Dark ocean blue. Which is the same color that the SX is finished in. You also have upgraded wheels, LED running lights. You can tell the S has a little bit of a different variation where it has this same running light as the SX and then a block right here, whereas the SX has 4 more LEDs, as well as the main headlights are these 3 LED strips, as well as LX doesn't have fog lights. This one has halogen fog lights. This one has LED fog lights. You can tell also the SX has radar cruise control with that little box right up by the grill, whereas the other two don't have that. All in all, this one comes to $27,215. So this one is optioned with the 1.6 liter turbo, 195 pound-feet, 175 horsepower, 6-speed DCT, the 18-inch alloy wheels. Really nice. Blind spot collision warning, collision avoidance assist, rear cross traffic warning, rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist. And then the options include dark ocean blue, the glossy black door garnish package, which is that right there, and then the carpeted floor mats, cargo net, and a cargo tray for a total price of $27,215. Not too bad at all. There's your cargo net and your floor compared to, oh, there we go. Just your carpeted section in here. So this one does have leather lined seats. The main inserts are cloth, whereas you have a leather lining and the middle seat is leather in here. Nice blue contrast in terms of this dashboard trim. going throughout. Same basic layout on the screen. You have heated seats in this model and a leather wrapped steering wheel. So really the big differences in the interior, just everything's just a little bit nicer in here. Nice ocean blue contrast stitching. Really, really, really nice interior in this one. And then we move on to the SX, top of the line for the Seltos. Same wheels as the S, very, very similar in terms of exterior appearance. This one has the same basic layout with the cargo net on the floor and the weatherproof lining. This one has a lot more options, your LED headlights, just a ton of options. Bose Premium Audio, Sirius XM, really, really nice. Again with the two-tone, but the top is black on this one, compared to, you can kind of see in the distance, you can get it all one color, you can get it multicolor. It's really, really, really customizable, and that's what I really love. Nice perforated full leather seats back here. You do have USB charging. Your Bose stereo. You have your heated seats again. Just really, really nice in here. This is where everything gets a little bit different. Instead of having the buttons up here, you have a little bit of a larger screen and display with your buttons down low. This here is leather, of course, leather wrapped steering wheel, and the full perforated leather. You also move to an electronic e-brake, makes everything look just a little bit nicer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take these out on the road. Alright, driving the Seltos LX, fitted with the 2.0 liter 4-cylinder with the IVT transmission, intelligent variable transmission, Kia's version of the CVT. This is actually a lot of fun. Before today, the only Seltos I had ever driven was the fully loaded SX Turbo. Absolutely fantastic. These are really, really fun to drive. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they are based on the same platform as the Forte. And I love the Forte, ton of fun to drive. And this is no exception. The gauges are straight out of the Forte. The wheel, I believe, is also out of the Forte. Other interior bits are a little bit different. I can see a mixture of the Forte and the Nero in here. And that is definitely a compliment. Really, really nice interior, especially for being the base model. Up at highway speeds, it's super comfortable. Not a lot of wind noise at all. Really, really stable, really well planted. These seats, for being the base seats, are super comfortable. Really, really nice cloth material. It definitely feels high quality, like it's gonna last a long time. Even though the steering wheel is kind of a rubberized plastic on this base model, it still feels great to the touch. And what's awesome is these, we run crazy lease specials on all the time. I've seen these for under $200 a month. 1 month, I think we even had them under $100 a month. So they lease really, really well. This specific car is what I consider the launch spec, meaning that the first ones delivered to our dealership were this specification, blue LX, just like this one. I think we had like 10 delivered, all the same spec, and they flew off the lots. Now we're starting to get a bit more colors in. We'll have gray, yellow, just a bunch of stuff. And then of course you can always order one to your specification too. Still absolutely superb vehicle, really, really nice to drive, even for being the base spec. 2-liter does feel quite peppy, especially mated to this IVT. It keeps it in the power band when you need it, and also makes it super fuel efficient. I've been averaging in town around 25 to 30. On the highway I've seen it up to 40, which is pretty darn impressive. Steering feel is actually pretty good, especially in sport mode. Everything tightens up a lot. You don't have a lot of body roll. There is a little bit, but other than that, really, really nice. Especially given the price point of under $24,000. Definitely think the interior is very high quality for what you're buying or leasing. I have absolutely no complaints. It is absolutely awesome. So now, I'm gonna put the camera. Yeah, this little lens cover protects the, lens. But now after driving the LX, let's go ahead and take the S out for a spin. Now we're behind the wheel of the S. This one, of course, as stated before, is the 1.6 turbo. You can get the S with the 2.0, but in all honesty, the 1.6 is a phenomenal powertrain. Puts out 175 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque, and it completely changes the character of the Seltos from kind of a fun, quirky car to a really playful, compact SUV. Really, really sporty experience, especially with once the turbo kicks in. It's awesome. Not a lot of turbo lag either, if that's a mild worry of yours. Uses a smaller turbocharger that spools up relatively quickly, and it keeps pulling all the way through the power band. Gets up to 60 quite a lot quicker than the 2.0, and this dual clutch is also a fantastic transmission. Shifts very, very quickly, gets the job done. While in previous years I would have stayed away from a dual clutch for a daily use car, just because they used to be very jerky in stop and go traffic, very, very difficult to just go back and forth in traffic with. Stop and go was just kind of painful because it would jerk you around. It was not very good. Technology has changed dramatically. If I didn't read the window sticker, or I should say if I didn't know the difference between a normal automatic and a dual clutch, I'd say this is a normal automatic. It's just a really, really good unit. you have a sport mode as well as a manual mode. Downshifts are done very smoothly and very quickly. This thing pulls really, really well. It doesn't shift at redline because there's no reason to go above 5,500. Smaller motors, especially smaller turbos, make their power down low in the power band, which makes 2,500 RPM to 4,000 RPM this car's sweet spot, and when it really produces a lot of its torque. It's not to say that it falls on its face above 3,000 or above 5,000 RPM. It keeps on pulling. Just there's no reason to go above that. It's already out of its power band at that point. Turbocharger's just along for the ride. Yeah, it definitely pulls the hardest around 3,500. Try out the turning circle. Absolutely fantastic, especially for an all-wheel drive vehicle. All-wheel drive vehicles tend to have a wider turning circle just due to the nature of the vehicle, and this is definitely an exception. Very well done. I do love the upgraded leather steering wheel. That just changes the whole thing. Because if you think about it, every time you drive it, you're going to be touching the steering wheel. That's one of the materials that definitely you can tell that a manufacturer cheaped out on. This is not the case. For under 30,000, this is a steering wheel that uses very high quality leather. Doesn't feel like it's going to break. All the buttons, knobs, dials feel absolutely fantastic. So now, let's go ahead and take the top of the line SX out and kind of see how that drives. Alright, and now we're behind the wheel of the SX, and it is a huge difference from the S and definitely the LX. Wireless charging up here, totally different gauge cluster with a bigger screen in the middle. Steering wheel somehow or another feels nicer. I think it's the same. All of this auto climate control is all very, very well done. Different screen with all your buttons here, much easier to reach. But let's get on to the actual best part of this, the driving experience. Compared to the LX, this feels like a totally different car. The S is similar just because it has the same exact power plant, but there's something special about the SX. It feels a lot different in a much better way. The seats are very, very comfortable. Power is phenomenal. Have automatic braking and all that stuff. Another huge feature that I didn't know this came with, and I tested it on the way here. It works really, really well. Steering assist. So it finds lane lines, stuff like that. and on top of lane keep assist, it will steer you through the lanes. It says to keep your hands on the steering wheel. That's why I say it's more of an assist than anything. It's not like autopilot or anything like that. But for under 30 grand to have a car come with auto steering capabilities is pretty darn impressive. If you don't keep your hands on the steering wheel, it will ding at you saying, hey, put your hands back. But it's perfectly complacent. Even through a merge, it does it. There it goes. I even had it drive itself on some off-ramps, which is pretty impressive. Very, very tough to do for many autopilot systems. So even here, it's steering itself. Here, it's probably going to get confused just because the lanes disappear. No! Wow, okay, that did really, really well. So when it gets confused, it tells you to put your hands on the steering wheel. If it knows what it's doing, it'll probably just sit there all day. Every once in a while, it might chime at you saying, put your hands on the steering wheel. But in turns and stuff like that, it will tell you to put your hands on the wheel. Once you put your hands, once you put the indicator on or anything like that, the steering assist shuts off, which I like because I don't want to sit there and try to fight it that whole time. There we go. So we'll see how it does on this curve. It might not do it. We'll see. Slow down a little bit more. Yep, nope, it doesn't like that sharp of a turn. Oh, maybe, nope, okay. I did drive a turn similar to that on the highway and it did it just fine. It's very impressive that Kia brought this to the mainstream. Really, really good technology. Works really well. Steering wheel icon in the gauge cluster turns green when it's activated. You have a steering wheel button that you press for the system to turn on. That's where it's very different. This drives just a lot better than the other two. Not sure why, but you know what? I will take it. See, now it's taking the turn, no problem. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.